Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be all about products I've never tried before, and a lot of these products are from Wet n Wild. I will be trying out their Photo Focus foundation. I'm trying out a new sponge and some ColourPop. Today's shout out is to Zulit. Zulit, thank you so much for watching, and let's get into the video. This is the e.l.f. Total Face Sponge. I do like that it has the flat end and the pointed end. I'm going to start with the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Eyeshadow Primer, and I'm going to put that on my lid and prepare for eyeshadow. I feel like it definitely mattified my eyelids. Now I'm going to be using the Villains. This is the Disney and ColourPop eyeshadow palette. I was drawn to Fragile and Diablo, and these shades are really beautiful and swatch really nicely. Did also pick up the BH Cosmetics. This is the Blush Neutrals 26 color eyeshadow and blush palette. I love the blushes in this palette, and this one in particular I think looks really beautiful. The first color I'm going to use is this taupey shade. I'm going to actually blend that out in my crease using my e.l.f. crease brush. This shade was really powdery and really blended out into nothing. Physicians Formula collaborated with Casey Holmes on this palette, and it smells so good. It does come with a bronzer, blush, a highlighter, and 4 eyeshadows. I'm going to use the shade Do Not Disturb on a fluffy brush, and it does pick up a lot of eyeshadow, so I am packing that on my eyelids and blending it out. Picking up a blending brush and the shade No Filter, I'm going to use that in my crease. From the Villains palette, I'm going to use the shade 101, and this shade was really bad. It's a charcoal color, but it blends out really into nothing, and I really didn't like the way it blended, and the shade, I just didn't like it. Now onto Fragile. I am going to apply that with my finger on my eyelid and see how that works, but I did have a lot of fallout. I wasn't happy with the opacity just using my finger, so I am going to use some of these Wet n Wild sprays. These are actually a 3-in-1 spray, a primer, a set, and a refresher. I'm going to use the Rose spray. I really like the way that that spray smelled and sprayed, and I'm going to spray my brush and go back into that shade to try to build it up, but it really didn't. I don't think that the eyeshadows in this palette are that pigmented, and as you can see, I had a really hard time with the eyeshadows. So I used the Casey Holmes green shadow, and that worked a lot better. Hoping for more pigment, I went into the shade Diablo and I applied that in my inner corner, and I actually really liked this color. It was really bright and it looked really pretty and reflective. In case you were wondering, the BH Cosmetics palette was a no-go for me, guys. I haven't tried out the blushes yet, but the eyeshadows were really bad. The Casey Holmes palette, I really loved the eyeshadows. They're really good and they blend well. I'm going to apply some tape to the ends of my eye and prepare for some liner. The Wet n Wild On The Edge Cream Eyeliner, I picked it up in Carbon My Reach, and it is a potted gel liner like this. It does come with a brush, and I'm going to use both. Mind you, this is the darkest one that they had, and I felt like it was not opaque. It was not that dark and very hard to work with. It was really frustrating trying to get a straight line, so I actually got this free liner from BH Cosmetics, and it came with the eyeshadow palette, so I'm going to use that. It is a felt tip marker, which I prefer. You can tell how much darker this eyeliner is versus the Wet n Wild gel liner. I love this liner. I felt like I can get a straight line. It was very dark and black, but if you do have hooded eyelids, just make sure you know that it does transfer to the top. I'm going to prime my face with the Photo Focus Wet n Wild Face Primer in Matte. This really did keep my face matte all day, and it felt really nice on the skin. It was very mattifying and really nice. I also used the Rose spray. I really loved the way that this sprayed on my face and hydrated. This is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation in Soft Beige, and I had a hard time opening this foundation. It does come with a spatula to apply the foundation onto your skin. This foundation claims to be a high-performing breakthrough formula that's supposed to be best under lighting conditions, and it delivers flawless camera ready makeup every single time. So let's see about that. I definitely felt like I could blend it and it blended out seamlessly. I do feel like it was very light on the skin. It wasn't full coverage, you can definitely still see my freckles, but I do not mind that. Even up close, I didn't feel like it was settling into my pores or clinging on to like breakouts or pimples around my chin area, so I really liked it. Moving on to concealer, I did pick up the Photo Focus concealer in light medium beige. And this is the applicator. It is a doe foot applicator. I felt like I needed to go back into the container for more product, and I did use my e.l.f. sponge to blend it out. Using the e.l.f. sponge was very helpful under my eyes. I was able to use the flat side to get close to my eyeliner, so I really did like that. And this is the before and after. It looks pretty good. I applied a little bit more in my inner tear duct area and blended it out with the e.l.f. sponge and then with the e.l.f. concealer brush. I do feel like it canceled out darkness. I can go up in the shade, but if you do like a bright under eye, it is pretty good. Getting close up to, you can tell it didn't settle into my fine lines or into my pore area, so I like it. I set with my tried and true Laura Mercier powder. Now to finish off the face, I'm going to use the Butter Bronzer in Deep Bronze from the Casey palette and my e.l.f. complexion brush. You do want to use a light hand, but this is really good. It blends out really nicely and I love the shade. Using Copper Cabana on my e.l.f. stippling brush. It's definitely a lot lighter than I thought it would be, but I did really like it on the apples of my cheeks and added to the top of the bronzer. Trying out the flat side of the e.l.f. sponge, I'm going to use my translucent powder and I'm going to clean up that bronzer. I also used the pointed edge to see which side I liked best, but I definitely like the flatter end when I am cleaning up the bronzer. BRB, I'm going to put on my brows and lashes, and ta-da! Using the highlighter in Just Beachy, I'm going to apply that to my brow bone and blend it out. Pretty much using all e.l.f. brushes. If you do want to see my brush video, go ahead and check it out up in the cards or down below. I'm going to use my blending brush and the color No Filter under my eyes and buff it out. Then with the pencil brush, I am going to use the color Tropic Like It's Hot and buff it out even further. Now to blend it all together, I'm using Devious from the Villains collection to buff it out. Now that that's done, I'm going to finish up my makeup off camera and take some pictures in the car once it's completed. The claims say that these are supposed to be photo focusing and no filter needed, and I do feel like they are for sure, but when I did use the flash, I did feel like it was a little bit too light for me, so I do need to pick up different shades in the concealer and the foundation, but ultimately I did like it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your family and friends, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.